Old Trump held a secret meeting at Mar-a-Lago with the gang that couldn't shoot straight last night, highlighting once again what a dimwit he is and how profoundly stupid and corrupt his inner circle is. I'm going to show some footage that includes secret video of the meeting, but first, let's just do a rundown of the cohorts that were there. Peter Navarro, fresh off of being jailed for contempt of Congress. Rudy Giuliani, who was scrounging nickels off the floor so that he can pay off his $140 million plus defamation judgment. Jeffrey Clark, the least qualified of them all. And of course, John Eastman, the legal mastermind whose ability to correctly read the Constitution is akin to the average third grader reading Joyce's Ulysses. Also, there was Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. More on her later. I will say for now, I usually don't take pity on right-wing politicians, but I have to make an exception here, because part of the evening's festivities included screening a documentary praising John Eastman and his legal acumen. How you can subject an Italian politician to that is something that is just beyond cruel. But then again, that would have to be the shortest documentary in history. Or you could flip it to Michael Snow and have it be a slow zoom across the Tribeca loft that ends with a post-it on a refrigerator with the number 0 on it. And why the praise for Eastman? Because in general, the secret meeting was a celebration of the J6 insurrection. Listen as Simone Sanders describes the event, and then later I'll show more of what the panel has to say about it.
In a video posted online, apparently taken from the audience, Trump sang Eastman's praises, insisting Eastman was, quote, right the whole time. Tomorrow will mark 4 years since Trump's conspiracy led thousands of pro-Trump extremists to storm the United States Capitol. Fortunately for Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris doesn't share his value set. Tomorrow, she will preside over the certification of Donald Trump's victory. Harris will protect the tradition of peaceful transfers of power as Donald Trump celebrates efforts to destroy it.
And this, in a nutshell, is why Donald Trump is fundamentally unable to govern. Less than 2 days before his election is to be certified, an election to return him to power, he's off on a nostalgia party, celebrating how they almost illegally overturned the previous election. His little fragile ego can't accept that he lost, even if he has subsequently won. And of course, the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump can't govern. Because A, he's too dim-witted, and B, all he cares about is power. And that part is never going to stop. The fascination with wielding power is only going to grow as he watches more military parades and witnesses more exercises of power by authoritarians, pining that he can't do the same. And what this reporting shows is that Trump and his cohorts know they are in the wrong. They just don't care. They're too busy sucking up to the mentally unfit wannabe dictator. But MSNBC did the right thing by calling it out. Watch this.
So what was the sense in this room? What was the purpose of this gathering? Is just an in-your-face moment or just a tale of things to come?
There was a lot taking place, and to be brutally honest with you, guys, we did not know that this event was taking place in real time, and was watching these videos on social media trickle out as Donald Trump, just a day before the Kamala Harris is set to certify and oversee the counting of the Electoral College votes to make him the next president. He, here in Mar-a-Lago at Palm Beach, just across the water from where we're standing, welcoming those individuals who tried to help him overturn the 2020 election, being welcomed back to his estate here in Florida.
So, Kim, just to underscore what we just heard from Vaughn there, no pool camera, no editorial allowed into Mar-a-Lago for the events, no readouts provided. It's a little bit like they're telling on themselves, like they know that what they are doing.
That's absolutely right. I mean, there are so many things wrong with what happened last night, but one of them, yes, is his incorrect characterization about what the Electoral Count Reform Act did. What it did was make clear that the job of the vice president, that we will see Vice President Kamala Harris carry out tomorrow, is mandatory. It is not discretionary. The vice president does not and never had the ability to upend the will of the people, but that is going to be lost on the folks like that were in the crowd last night. Let's remember, John Eastman was disbarred. As you pointed out, Peter Navarro served time in jail. Rudy Giuliani disbarred and is now trying to fight payment after defaming election workers in a way that upended their lives. These are not patriots. And I think that it is absolutely unconscionable for a foreign leader to have been a part of that. There is only one president at a time. So she had no business there doing that. And certainly the lack of transparency is precisely why things like this should not happen. But we are seeing now Donald Trump fully believes that he and everyone around him is above the law.
Let's just put a finer point on it. This is sickening.
Yeah.
This is sickening. I am sick. Peter Navarro, Jeffrey Clark, the people that went to the Capitol to take up arms against the United States government because the the president of the United States at the time lied to them, because that's what happened. Those people are not patriots. What Donald Trump did last night is a disgrace to this country. It's a disgrace to the Constitution. And to Alicia's point, the fact that they didn't tell anyone about it lets you know that they knew what they were doing was untoward. So they didn't want to put a spotlight on it, but they wanted to do it anyway.
So on the one hand, MSNBC did the right thing by calling out Trump and his sycophants. Simone Sanders frames the events of J6 as being conducted by Trump extremists, and then goes on to deliver a complete moral refutation of last night's meeting and what it represents. On the other hand, Democrats are still taking too much pride about passively turning over power when legal means to oppose it are still an option. Several legal and constitutional experts have said there is a way for Democrats to oppose Trump's installation as president, not the least of which is because he's an insurrectionist. There's a difference between sending in a clown like Giuliani with no evidence into 60 courts across the country and having Democratic Congresspeople oppose certification based on Article 14 of the Constitution. But here's the most ironic thing about having the Prime Minister of Italy there. The time to ask her for information on Mussolini's March on Rome was in 2021. Trump is so stupid, he almost doesn't realize that he's being given power this time. He just keeps reliving the past because it damaged his ego. And the fact of the matter is, he didn't know how to use power then, and he doesn't know what to do with it now, because everything he wants to do is illegal. The Prime Minister of Italy can't help you there, Trump. If there's any Prime Minister shackled from power, it's the Italians. Now, it's far more likely she was there for Trump to strong-arm her over his plan to sell out Ukraine. European leaders, including Meloni, have stated that they will continue to support Ukraine even if the U.S. declines aid. Trump was more than likely trying to persuade her, using his Trumpian charm. Yeah, I'm sure that worked. She was probably particularly charmed by his use of a diaper. But no matter what Trump says, Europeans know that Russia will roll right past Ukraine and into Europe eventually. So it's doubtful that Meloni is going to give any ground there. So for now, Ukraine, you're safe. Wish I could say the same for the rest of us. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.